Yeah, 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 yeah. Look, 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 look.
What's up YouTube, it's JackalGoldKick, and in this video we're going to be doing a rant on cultural appropriation. And I think a while ago this was somebody had an idea of this or something, I don't remember, but I feel like doing this rant video. So I don't know if this is a request or not, I can't fully remember, but let's talk about this shit. Let's do a rant video on cultural appropriation because it's fucking stupid. Basically what cultural appropriation is someone from a different race and ethnicity wearing clothes or basically being involved in some type of culture that's from another race. Like for example, some people on Halloween like to wear Native American stuff even though they're not Native American. And there's some people have issues with that. They call it like cultural appropriation. Or this one story I knew about where this young white girl had braided hair and she got flack for it because that's supposed to be like hairstyle from black people. That's also an example of cultural appropriation, you know? And I just think cultural appropriation is fucking stupid. I mean, yes, culture is a real thing. There is culture in different races and different kinds of styles and things of that nature. But to lock down what your culture has and you want to yell cultural appropriation, have an issue with other races and other ethnicities engaging in things in general from your entertainment, you're pretty much being a fucking racist. You are. Because you're basically telling these other people can't do this because they ain't black, or these other people, like some of the people out there that get mad at people who aren't Native American wearing Native American outfits on Halloween and having an issue with it and saying cultural appropriation, those kind of people are racist as well. I mean, what's wrong with different races and ethnicities engaging in culture and all that from other races and ethnicities? Why is this a problem? Why do some people out there gonna shout this bullshit of cultural appropriation? Fuck cultural appropriation. Everybody should be able to be themselves and be what they want, you know? Trying to lock that shit down just comes off as racist, because it's like, well, only Native Americans are allowed to dress like that. Why can't the other people dress like that on Halloween? Because of their skin color, isn't it? That's fucking racist. Or the other shit, like I said, with that one story with that white girl, I don't know the full details of it, but she had braids and she was fucked with and she got cultural appropriation, you know, pushed at her, and she got shit for it, you know. And it's bullshit, because that stuff is racist, because you're excluding people from certain types of cultures because they're not the same skin color as the people of the skin color in those cultures. That's racist, it's stupid, and it's fucking dumb. And let me give you an example of, on the other side of the coin, of where cultural appropriation doesn't exist and we don't care. Us Americans, we don't give a fuck about cultural appropriation. We don't give a shit about influence or taking stuff from culture. We don't care about that. You know, that's from what I saw. Us Americans in the United States, we've never yelled or got mad about cultural appropriation when it comes to other races and other ethnicities, you know, borrowing stuff or taking stuff from our culture. I'll give you some examples. Shinji Mikami, the guy who made Resident Evil 1, guess what? He was influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the 70s. That's an American movie. He's a Japanese developer. And we did not once call him out or cancel it. None of us Americans did that. We never yelled at Shinji and said cultural appropriation or any of that. We don't care that he took influence from that part of American culture, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, as part of his, you know, influence of making Resident Evil. We didn't care about that, you know, because I think that's cool. It allows for interesting takes on things. It allows for interesting, you know, different versions of cultures and stuff. And everybody should be accepted with each other. Everybody should be accepted, you know. And to have cultural appropriation be a thing where these certain types of people should not be wearing this type of certain stuff. You know, people that aren't Native American shouldn't be wearing Native American outfits on Halloween. You people are fucking stupid. Fuck you motherfuckers that always want to yell cultural appropriation when you see someone who isn't Native American wearing their outfit on Halloween. Hell, even if they weren't wearing their outfit on Halloween, I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm actually Native American myself. I have some Native American in me. And I don't give a fuck if people that aren't Native American like to wear that outfit. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with having multiple types of people engage with multiple types of culture. Like I said, us Americans, especially me, we didn't care about people from Japan taking influence from our culture. I'll give you another example. The video game Dead Rising, right? Keiji Inafune, the guy who made Dead Rising and the team behind Dead Rising 1, guess what their influence was? Dawn of the Dead, the original, from the 70s, I believe. And that was an American-made film by an American filmmaker, George Romero. Rest in peace to George Romero, by the way. And we never had an issue with it. You know, there was never any backlash or cultural appropriation. So it's like, if us Americans don't have any issue and don't yell cultural appropriation when Shinji takes influence from an American thing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or when Keiji and the guys behind Dead Rising don't, when they take influence and stuff like that from like the Dawn of the Dead movie and put it in their own game, and if we don't get mad at that stuff, us Americans, and we don't have the issue with it and yell cultural appropriation, then why the rest of you motherfuckers have to do that? Whether it's a Native American shit where some people want to get pissed off and they think it's offensive that, you know, you're not Native American, you're wearing a Native American outfit, that's wrong. No, fuck that shit. I don't care if people want to wear Native American outfits, whether it's Halloween or not. I don't give a shit. What the hell is wrong with it? What the fuck is wrong with it? You know? Or the other shit where the white girl got fucked with and some bullshit happened to her and all this cultural appropriation thrown towards her because she had braids, you know, which is a hairstyle that a lot of black people have. But I gotta give a news flash for those people that gave her shit and the cultural appropriation idiots want to throw this one. I got a news flash. You know who had braids first? The fucking Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings had the fucking braids first. Hell, Rob Zombie back in the day had dreads and all that shit. You know, and there wasn't no issues then when Rob Zombie had dreads. You know, the Vikings, I mean, I don't know if it's kind of the same, but I would say dreads and braids go hand in hand, kind of. And Vikings had that years ago. So get the fuck out of here with the cultural appropriation shit. Fuck cultural appropriation in general. You know, like I said, us Americans, we don't care that the Japanese will take influence from us. I actually think it's cool that they do. It's cool to me they do that because they make awesome shit. Because the sad reality is, people from Japan that make video games can make better stuff based off of our shit than we can based off of our own stuff. Look at Dead Rising 3, look at Dead Rising 4. Games made by American developers, and those games were fucking trash. They had none of the magic, none of the quality that Dead Rising 1 had. Another thing that us Americans never yelled cultural appropriation or never had an issue with is, some other shit to say about Dead Rising 1 is, for Dead Rising 1, they were trying to cater and appeal to Americans with that game. They were a Japanese company, but they were trying to appeal to Western audiences. And they didn't have malls in Japan, so they traveled across the world, you know, where there were malls to study them and see how they were, so they could actually make an American-type mall in the Dead Rising game. Dead Rising itself is like American-type game with, you know, the characters and the mall itself, and it came together really cool and awesome, you know? And us Americans never had an issue with that, and we never yelled cultural appropriation. Whether it was Shinji Mikami being influenced from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whether it was Keiji Inafune being influenced from Dawn of the Dead and doing what he did with Dead Rising and all the mall stuff and having American-type culture, us Americans, including me, we never had an issue with that. We don't care, you know? Because everybody should be accepted and allowed, you know? That's just plain and simple. You know, that's just fucking plain and simple. See, I don't know what else I could really say in this rant video about, you know, cultural appropriation, but I just think cultural appropriation in general is a stupid ass fucking thing. Stop locking certain things down to certain races and ethnicities and getting all mad and want to yell cultural appropriation whenever someone of not the exact same skin color or not the exact same ethnicity engages in it or has something similar to it. Stop being a racist piece of shit and yelling cultural appropriation, because you're a fucking idiot and you're a fucking moron and you're fucking stupid. And there's not much else more I could say about that. Yeah, and like I said, people, I think it's cool when, you know, Japanese take stuff from our stuff, because like I said, American developers, you know, I like Gears of War and things of that nature. There are some good American developers, but most American developers, from what I see, they can't make good horror games. They failed at it with Dead Rising 3 and 4. They failed at it with, I haven't played the Silent Hill games, but I heard the later ones were shit because it was an American team, not a Japanese team. Evil Within. I loved the Evil Within 1. The game was good because you had a Japanese developer behind it. The Evil Within 2 sucked. It came out as bland, lame, it was nothing like the first one, and there was an American developer behind it. And that's one of the reasons I never shout cultural appropriation or want to lock things like that down. Because, like I said, ironically, Japanese developers make better products with stuff from our American culture than us American developers can from our own American culture, which is crazy. So yeah, fuck cultural appropriation. It's stupid, it's bullshit, it's racist, it's fucking dumb, and I don't fucking like it at all. Because everybody should be allowed to be themselves, and everybody should be allowed to do what they want. You know, if you're black, you should be able to listen to rock. If you're white, you should be able to listen to rap. You know, all ethnicities and all types of races and all types of people should be allowed to do all kinds of things and be involved in all kinds of entertainment and fashion and all that. There shouldn't be no gatekeeping or cultural appropriation shit, because that kind of behavior is fucking racist. It is, and I'm gonna call it like I fucking see it. And like I said, you motherfuckers that wanna, whoever it was that got mad at the white girl for wearing braids and you're doing cultural appropriation claims towards her and giving her shit, you should do your motherfucking research, because fucking braids, what she was wearing, that style, Rob Zombie had a similar style like that with dreads way back in the day when he was in the White Zombie band and when he was Rob Zombie with Hellbilly Deluxe, and that hairstyle came from Vikings, you stupid fucks. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about those people that were given, you know, I don't know what the news article is called, but I remember Riley DTV talked about it, and that was just an example I wanted to bring in. And I guess I could throw in a few more examples. It's kind of the same thing with hip-hop. You know, when some black rappers constantly say, this is our culture, we don't accept white rappers. That's the vibe I get from some people like Lord Jamar, and like Lord Jamar especially, the way he acted towards Eminem and all the shit he said. He was always like, you know, this is our culture. Eminem's a guest in the house of hip-hop. Why is he a guest in the house of hip-hop? It's because he's not black? That's fucking racist. Why can't white people just be and rap and have the same presence and all that as black people can? It should be an accepting genre, you know? It's fucking stupid. So that's another example of cultural appropriation, is that bullshit in hip-hop of this is my culture and I don't like this and this type of person being in my rap shit because this is rap, we own this is our culture. Being pro of anything race like that is racist itself, and that's a fucking fact. It is a motherfucking fact. And that's another thing I will say, is if you're pro about a race and pro about this is our genre, this is our culture, this is our shit, that's racist. Because you're basically telling other races that they can't have the same amount of involvement or all that stuff with it because they're not the same skin color as you. You're outcasting them. That's being racist. Plain and fucking simple. That's all I gotta say in this video. Fuck cultural appropriation. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking racist. And it can go fuck itself, as well as all the people out there that want to yell that bullshit. You know, it's fucking stupid. It's Jackal, and I'm out of here giving you... Hold on. Shit, hold on. Let me redo that, and you let me know how this is, if I should keep it or not. And that was me, Jackal, giving you gold kicks, bitch.